is that one there, if I'm not mistaken. But I can't figure out where the feedback's coming from.
Well, as long as it's ready for my
That's what I'm
solo.
thinking.
Right. That's
I wondered if you were turning something, if it, cause you know sometimes when if you don't have the jack in all the way, it kinda gives you that feedback.
You have to twist it. Or just turn it off, turn it back.
Whatever you were doing, somebody's doing it was making it better.
Did it get better or worse?
You get better or worse?
Put your finger on it for the whole meeting. There you go.
Yeah.
No,
Is the speaker closer or is the wire too tight? Too many chiefs. That punched out.
that,
I don't want it.
Better.
that's what I,
Somebody.
God, that confounded.
Hello? Check, check, one. Yeah. Brought those down, but now you can't hear them.
Maybe that's just as well.
Right,
You turned like it into 240.
right, exactly. Check, 1, 2, check. Now, see, I can't hear it very well.
that works much better for me.
Can you hear? Can you hear?
Yeah.
Can you hear anything?
Must
Okay.
be a
Yes, it-
short or something in it or something.
All right.
coax part of the, I don't know, like engineer speak. I'll let it go.
Round doohickey.
Call the meeting to order at 6:32 on Wednesday night. Need to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Present.
Here.
Full board.
Nice.
Agenda approval. Do we need to make any changes to the agenda? Without any comment, is there a motion to accept it as is presented? Moved by Derek, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Michael. Mike. Any discussion? Those in favor of approving as presented for the agenda, say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Public comment, which would be for the agenda items only, which there is nothing other than old business, I guess, which is about ordinances. Good. Oh, okay. Just address yourself and give your address, please.
I think I figured this out a little bit better as I've been here. Hi, everybody. My name is James Rose from 11523 Dixie Highway. And I know you guys are talking about ordinances. You guys are doing the diagnostic review. These are all part of public planning. I think it's really great that we're all reviewing these to make sure that they protect the public as well as the interests of the township.
Are we having trouble hearing him, by the way?
Maybe I unplugged my own mic.
Oh. Well, it just seems like you're lighting. If we
You
can't
need
hear
to talk
you,
into the mic. It's
Kind of turn it towards you.
it's a sound
Check. Yeah.
canceling.
Let me go plug that back in.
No, we're okay. Let's see if
No,
it.
it's not that, because that's wireless.
Yeah,
didn't mean to
make
interrupt
sure
you.
it's on.
it is on.
It's on. Any check? Am I getting a check?
No, don't
All
really.
right, I'll speak up.
Okay.
There you
Yeah,
go.
The fan went off.
Use my outdoor voice.
Yep.
There you go.
Thank you.
For you guys. So, my name is James Gross. I'm from 11523 Dixie Highway. I wanted to come here and have public comment as feedback on the diagnostic review to some things as a public that I would like to see as part of our zoning ordinances on a go forward. So, you guys are probably aware that I live next to a parcel that's being rezoned to C2 or in proposed rezoning to C2. And I would like to make some points around some of the zoning ordinances that we have and maybe putting some prerequisites in place to some of the zoning types that we have, be it C2 or industrial. So my proposed care facility, something like that, then it should be treated as a special use case, irrespective of that, potential for what that building is gonna be, to where a site plan review is required before zoning is approved. That way you can make sure that those people in that area are not negatively impacted by that new zoning, as well as, the time for everybody on the board to go through and have to constantly re-review a site plan once that zoning is approved can be rather arduous, right? So I feel like this would be a good prerequisite to have in place for those C2 and industrial zoning types. My second point that I'd like to bring up in public comment is that zoning for C2 or industrial, if allowable, and this is your department, but that if those zoning types are being included, that a permit should be required before zoning approval for water and sewer use. That way you understand the requirements that they're looking to build, and that the municipal systems are able to handle both water and sewer for those particular use cases, whether it's industrial or commercial C2, right? Because both of those could, and you could put a cap on it, like if you expect to use, pick a number, 5,000 gallons or less a day, no special permit is required before rezoning, but if you exceed that or we find you to exceed that, your permit for zoning may be pulled, something to that effect. I'm not in the legal department, I just speak layman's terms. And then also, I would like to bring up as a personal point, that with these zoning ordinance and diagnostic reviews happening, if there ever is a need to revise or relook at the master plan, that our corridor of Northeast Dixie Highway be looked at to be potentially become part of the rural farm town district. We have a row of 5 houses that are on that corner that are currently zoned industrial, and it would, I think, be a great anchor to the rural farm town district in that corridor. And there is underdeveloped land nearby that I think may suit the need, so it'd be an even swap. Can I keep it to 3 minutes or less? I don't know.
Pretty close. Thank you.
Pretty good.
Thank you.
All right. No other public comments. Moving on to public hearings, which is none. Approval of minutes from December 10th, 2025, because we had a snow day back in January.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I heard somebody was stuck on 75 and somebody was stuck on 23.
I was on 23. I was way down 23.
And I was procrastinating on my couch, stuck on my couch, because I'm like,
This
I
was
don't want to
going
get out of
fine.
that.
That's the worst, when you get stuck on the
Way up to
couch.
5.
That's hard to get out of.
Yeah, no, I did not want to
It's
get out.
like, you gotta be kidding me.
On the
I
second,
see slight corrections.
yep, go ahead.
The fact that
Yep.
on the first page, we had 6 people that voted, and the second page, two things 7 people voted on.
Yeah, I
So,
caught that as well.
I'm taking that.
Well, the first one, the second page is Derek made the motion. Derek wasn't here for that meeting.
Yeah.
So that might be the one, the seventh person might have been.
Yeah,
That's true.
You did a good job.
I missed his motion, but both that one and the second vote, then one after that have 7 people voted for it, which really wanted to say,
Yep.
so.
right.
So I don't know if we know who made that motion, but it wasn't Derek, so. Okay. All right. Any other changes that need to be made? Do you have a motion to approve it with making the changes that were mentioned?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the December 10th meeting with the change that was just discussed, with the voting to 6 versus the 7.
Okay, Chuck, is there a second?
I second with changes
Second.
made.
Second with Ben. Any more discussion? Those in favor of approving with the changes made, say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Communications, still none, I assume, since it's not on here. Old business. Are you sure we're not supposed to vote first, or to our officers before we do this? Because I thought, based on some of the things I read in there, we are supposed to have new officers in January.
That's what I was reading, yeah.
Not that it's gonna make a lot of difference, by the way.
No, they'll serve until they're replaced, so
Yeah,
it's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we serve, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just take them all, Alexis. Keep flipping. One of them will turn something on.
I just wanted to know if I get to keep my parking spot.
You have a parking
Wait,
spot?
wait, wait.
Boy,
now-
you're special.
You have a parking spot? I
Yeah,
didn't know
well,
about that perk.
I don't know. No, just joking.
There's a sign and everything. This is Michael McCain.
Yeah, for 2 hours each month, he gets a spot, and the rest
That's
of
right.
nobody can park there.
It's way over there.
Way over there. on Maple Street, right? That's where the
Yeah, just walk here.
There's plenty of times I think to myself, there's no parking up there. I'm just gonna walk. I'll park at a friend's house and walk.
Apologies, guys. I wanted to get this
Which
set up
HDMI is it
before
plugged
the
into?
meeting and
I vote for Disney Plus.
Okay, great.
There you go.
One.
HDMI 1. There you go.
You don't have a place best for the board members.
I
Audience
know,
can
that's-
see what
We need one more TV right back there so
Yep.
we can see something instead of.
Well, I appreciate you for bearing with us with the technology, and thanks again for having me as always.
That's what it does.
Yeah,
We thought we fixed it, but
well, for the most part, what I've got in the slides tonight are things that you've already seen before. So because we missed January, I wanted to just refresh us on the discussion that we had in December. And part of what that means is taking a look at our schedule here for the zoning ordinance update. Let's see if this will, that was going too fast for me. Okay, so this was presented to you at the December meeting. I just wanted to point out we're in February right now. My colleagues and I have been working diligently on going through line by line in the ordinance, making the updates that we discussed in the diagnostic. At this point, for the most part, these changes are high level. So it's making sure that things are consistent, that there aren't loopholes, contradictories within the ordinance, adding in modern regulations that speak to proper procedure, taking things out like old codes that have been struck down at the Supreme Court. So things that are less discretionary, just, you know, run-of-the-mill, updating the ordinance to be a proper modern ordinance. As we continue on, what will be left are the changes that we need you all to weigh in on. I don't have anything specific to discuss tonight. We will have some draft text for you next month. I'm trying to decide exactly what we should focus on because there's a lot, right? There's anything from lighting, landscaping, but really what I want to focus on tonight is the future land use map and zoning districts and some of the questions that came up with the recent rezoning case, which, to just give a brief update, it did go to the township board. It was postponed, so that's still an open case that hasn't been decided just yet. And at this time, the applicant is taking some time to do some research and weigh his options. So it won't be on this month's township board agenda again just yet. So just a brief update on that. But I've been thinking a lot about wanting to refresh us as well on what is your role in this update as planning commissioners. What is your task, your charge in terms of the zoning ordinance update? Now, I have a couple of slides in here from the training that we did last year. I know that was sort of a long-winded training. We were here for a couple of hours and it's been almost a year so I wanted to just kind of revisit some of this and also pose a question to you all, which is, since the December meeting, have you had a chance to take a look at the ordinance, the master plan, the diagnostic? Do you have any immediate questions for me right now before I sort of dive into what I want to talk about tonight about that? And if not, that's okay. I've got.
I did have one
things I wanna
question,
talk about.
the future land use map.
Yes.
Is this also following more of what the state is kind of trying to collaborate, where people are more uniformed across the state of Michigan? Or is it, I mean, I know every area's got its own specific needs because of development. But I did notice that there is kind of a focus to try to be more uniform at this level as to what the state has planned for its overall planning.
Sure. You know, I have heard from some colleagues that there's a push lately for more statewide planning. I'm not aware of anything that's formalized that, and so when you say statewide, do you mean just things in the legislature, some of these, I guess if you could provide
Yeah,
a bit
so
more context.
what I was doing in some research was that they're looking to try to give more guidance for the land so that we don't overbuild and necessarily throughout the state, that we preserve some farmlands and so on. So there was just a look at, from the state level, is how do we support the lower levels of zoning, the townships and the cities and the communities, so that it works more in harmony with the whole state.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, every municipality has its own needs and infrastructure already in place, but how do you go forward?
Yeah.
And I kind of sense that was part of what you're doing with some of the ordinances, making sure the verbiage is clear and concise and not vague. And I just was curious about if that's generally what you're working as a basis towards as we move through this. And some of the changing of the zoning terminology in the areas from, what we currently have into this. I guess that was my question, is why this? Why these versus what's already in play?
Sure. Well, that's a great question, because it's gonna lead right into what I'd like to talk about tonight. And
Perfect.
in terms of the statewide stuff, again, I've heard that there are thoughts and some folks that are wanting to push for that more. I am not aware of anything that's, been formalized in terms of an initiative like what you're describing.
Sure.
I think that what we're seeing in land use policy in Michigan right now is that there are some less desirable uses that the state has incentivized that the locals are struggling with, right?
Sure.
And for the most part, exclusionary zoning, so simply outline a use from being anywhere in the township, is unlawful. So you can't just say, well, we don't want any daycares in the township. We don't need any. We don't think they fit here. We don't want them. That's illegal. And so what we've seen is the state preempting, in some cases, like the renewable energy
It's a hot topic,
uses,
right?
preempting local power to an extent. There's still some local power there, but it's shifting. But to your point on why is it this instead of something else or what we already have, the ordinance hasn't been looked at in a comprehensive way like this, I think, in many decades, or maybe even ever since there have been, over the years, amendments here and there, right? So sometimes I'll go, what's made it difficult to administer when we are make sure it's lawful, constitutional. But beyond that, the actual meat of it, right? Like, what are we doing here? What's the vision? Is in the master plan. And the timing of this commission flipping over right after the plan was adopted is unfortunate because 4 of you weren't here when that was adopted, right? So we went through a process of talking about what is that vision, and that was based off of the 2016 master plan, which was based off the plan before that. And so a lot of what's in there today has been built off for many years and by planners and commissioners before us. And so, and part of that process is public engagement. So getting feedback from the community. Does this still align with our vision for the township? And that's not to say the master plan is set in stone. It is intended to be a living document. But part of what I wanted to talk about tonight, and I'm just going to, these green slides are in your binders that Karen had put together. So those are there for you to reference, but in terms of, I'm gonna skip ahead here a little bit. What the master plan, what purpose that serves versus the zoning ordinance and how do these align is what I wanted to talk about. And this is just being a little bit finicky tonight, but when it loads, this slide shows a very simplistic visual of, in the master plan, we've got our future land use, and then that is translated to zoning districts, but it's not always a one-for-one. It's not always, you can see in the lower left corner, the future land use plan said industrial for that area, but when looking at the parcels, the context, what's the existing development there, zoning that as industrial might not make sense, right?
Right.
And let's see, if I can get this to. There's another slide that speaks to this, but is that helpful?
Yeah.
In getting out what your question was, because when we talked about the rezoning, we talked a lot about the zoning plan. This is what we look to, particularly when we get rezoning applications, because more often than not, your master plan, your future land use does not exactly align with your zoning map. Because it's, the future land use is aiming for the future, long term. Your
Right.
zoning is today. And if you go back a few slides, it lays out, again, what are the differences between the master plan and the zoning ordinance. Please, one more slide back. This is the one I'm looking for. So, your zoning ordinance is what can you do today? I bought a property, you look at the zoning, here are the permitted uses, here are the site design standards, landscaping, lighting, all of that. And I wanted to briefly speak to the public comment we had tonight and help clarify a few things, because the rezoning that we discussed is really a microcosm of what we're doing with the ordinance, which is we're looking at the future land use map, we're looking at the master plan to see what should the zoning be moving forward, which is of course a big deal. And so for rezonings, it's very high level at that point. An applicant could come in and say, I'd like to rezone to this. Okay, the future land use aligns with that. That doesn't mean that they are saying they have a use picked out yet. Maybe they haven't done all their due diligence yet because they don't even know if the rezoning will go through. And so part of the way that the development But we don't need all of that information right at the very beginning. And in this case, the rezoning really is at the beginning of the development process for that site because it's zoned agriculturally, it's non-conforming, it's more or less unbuildable today. And at the same time, the rezoning is not a slam dunk, right? The applicant, and I'll speak in more general terms so that we're not referring to the other case, but an applicant may not be ready to spend the thousands of dollars it takes to have a site designed, do their due diligence, get water and sewer permitting, well and septic, because they don't even know if the use itself will be permitted there yet. So it's a balancing act of getting us enough information as a township to say, okay, we see what you're doing here, it meets our regulations, while at the same time not forcing them to prove all of that when we're just at the very beginning of the process, and we don't want to be with some of the cases we've had, it seems like the commission has struggled because we don't want to be creating unnecessary barriers to small business owners or to local property owners, right? So it's striking a balance between making it feasible and reasonable to develop in Holly, and to launch a small business, whatever that might look like, build homes, but we don't want to be so restrictive and so stringent on having all of these things laid out before they get even one or two steps into the process. Now, at the same time, going back to your original question, the ordinance today is outdated, and what that means is there are a lot of the basics in there, but they're vague. So procedurally, there's not as much specificity as we see in modern ordinances, and specificity helps make things very clear to applicants, it's clear to the township, everyone knows what the expectations are, things can move more quickly, and that has been a challenge, is just the vagueness of the ordinance. There's a lot of broad language used. And so, to kind of go back here, I just, again, wanted to refresh this conversation and kind of put it on your radar that over the next few months we will continue to have this conversation and also start looking at draft text and looking at zoning districts. And I want you all to feel prepared to be able to have those discussions and make those decisions in an informed way. Any questions about that before I continue?
I guess one quick question. So just like, I guess from where it is right now to where it's going, you know, let's say like you get a property that is C2 general commercial and it's in the rural town.
Sure.
When does it become rural town, I guess, at that point? You know, is that the new ordinance, is what we're trending to? We're trying to, you know, go towards rural town, but if currently you're C2, like it might stay C2. Or if it made more sense to stay C2, could you? Or are you gonna be progressed in? Let's say if you had to do a site plan, you know, and you had to come back and you're currently C2, what happens? Are you sticking with C2, or is this township pushing you towards a rural town and then giving you you're like, no, you gotta go by this ordinance now? When does that transition take place, I guess, like in the timeline, you know?
Yeah, that's a great question. So up until, I'm gonna try and get back to the schedule slide here. Up until the township board adopts the ordinance and goes through all of the legal requirements to do so, the current ordinance stands. So if you are currently zoned C2, I'm gonna pull the map here. So you can see visually that there's a anywhere that's white on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side is either a light or a dark green, which are both, it's HERE and then, forget the title, it's natural resources, it's where the parks are at. The key areas that we will have to be determining how to move forward on are these commercial nodes, so it's Fish Lake and Grange Hall, and then up on Dixie Highway. Now, in terms of what does that mean currently for you as a property owner and in the near future as the township is going through this, will in some ways be determined by the commission and how we decide to zone. And what I mean by that is, in the master plan, it calls for the rural town center to be a walkable mixed use, focusing on higher density, concentrating these things so that when we get some of that development pressure, we're able to focus it in these areas where there's already density, there's already utility and infrastructure, and in return, we're able to preserve the majority of the township, right? The white on the right-hand side, more or less, is intended to be preserved for rural character, continued agricultural uses, large lot residential. But with the rural town center, that's really where a lot of our conversations are going to center with how do we zone this. And I will say that today I don't have a firm answer just yet. That's part of what we're developing in terms of the draft text is taking the recommendations of the master plan and translating them into codes. And what I'll point out is that, I'm trying to get through a few slides here, but the rural town center has a lot of the same intent, objectives, character as what we currently have in the zoning ordinance within the Grange Hall Fish Lake Overlay District. So if you remember back when we did the site plan and special use for crane heating and cooling, that area all falls within the Grange Hall Fish Lake Overlay District, and therefore there's an increased scrutiny on things like architectural design and compatibility, wanting to maintain that rural character, pitch proof. You know, we had him come back with a design for his pole barn that was a bit more, he added a cupola, right? These small additions and features can help it feel more compatible visually. And so these are the objectives of the rural town center. This is in the master plan.
But essentially, we're looking at phasing out the old zoning and then adopting these new zoning titles, right? So even like on, like limited industrial may turn into light industrial or something like that, right? Is that's kind of how things are transitioning, but really all of them are being rewritten in some way or form. Just, right, and then trying to see the nonconformities and make that all work, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. And my point about that the majority of the township is more or less already aligned with the future land use plan is that it's already being used as what the future land use envisions it to be. It's already being used industrially or commercially, whatever the case is. But that rural town center is a brand new concept.
Right.
There is no current mixed use district in Holly's code, and that's what it's envisioned as. But we do have this overlay district, and part of what I'd like to, not necessarily tonight, but what I'd like to get your feedback on is how do we move forward on that piece, because that is really the biggest change. And when you said all of the districts will be taken, we will look at all of them and rewrite them in some way or form.
Yeah, and I guess like some will be pretty close, and then like rural
Yes.
towns can be a little bit different, yeah,
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And again, looking at all of the other ones, they do more or less already align, so it'll be more about looking at,
mhm,
are there pain points, are there missing permitted uses that we are saying aren't allowed but we want? You know, looking at the permitted uses and seeing, today the ordinance is, the list of permitted uses is short. And that's not to say we have to add permitted uses, right? But knowing that exclusionary zoning is not allowed, we wanna be very clear about how and where uses should go so that we don't get caught off guard and, well, the ordinance doesn't mention it, now we have to kind of figure out where could this happen, is this allowed here? That is a case that has happened with some of these undesirable land uses where it's a new technology, for example. And the reason it's not in the ordinance is that it never existed before, and now we have to develop a code to address it. So that's part of speaking to the modernization of it, is just that it's very vague and we want it to be clear so that we're not caught off guard. But to your point about what does that mean for me as a property owner, in your packets tonight, I included a memo, it's called the Nonconformities Overview. And basically, it's just a high level, I got a slide on it in here somewhere. It's a high level description of, here it is. What is a nonconformity? What does it mean to own a nonconformity? What is going to be expected of me if I want to make changes to my property? I'd like to get your feedback on that memo. If you could take that home as your homework tonight, brush up on all of this, but specifically this memo, because we will start to get more questions from all the property owners, right? We will eventually have a public hearing on the zoning ordinance. And again, at a high level, what it means is that we're saying you can exist as you are today. We know that the current zoning, the current existing development, the structures that are here don't necessarily align with where the future land use is, where our new zoning ordinance is. But we're not saying you have to tear it down immediately, right? You can continue on forever. It is a protected status, basically, to say, people often used to refer to it as being grandfathered in. We don't really use that term anymore, but we're saying you're a non-conformity, you don't currently conform to our ordinance, but when you built your property, your site, you were in conformance, and so we're not gonna punish you for that. We're not saying you have to immediately bring it up to code. But when you do wanna make changes, depending on what those are, or there's a change of use,
what about resale for the same use, or something like that?
then that can continue on.
That would be continued, but if it was resale and then maybe they switch the use of the property, then it would go back into the site plan and everything, and it would drop into that, yeah.
And one important note is that there are non-conforming uses and non-conforming, we call them dimensional or structural non-conformities. So say the building is too close to the lot line, that would be a structural non-conformity.
Right.
If we say, when we update the ordinance, change some permitted uses and there's a current permitted use that we then render not permitted, it would be a non-conforming use. And within the state laws, townships aren't allowed to grant use variances. The way that the MCEA and MPEA were brought together is that they had separate state acts for townships, cities, and villages. When they combined them, they kept some of the delineations. So cities and villages can grant use variances. They could say, hey, we know it's not permitted, but in this case it makes sense. You can do this here. Townships are not enabled by the state act to do that. And so when we look at permitted uses, that's something to keep in mind, is that we just aren't allowed to grant a use variance, and so that will be more strict. To your point, if it's an existing use and it's non-conforming, they're allowed to continue. If it's a structural non-conformity, we can grant through the ZBA dimensional variance. So we can say, hey, you've met the criteria in the ordinance, there's a section on non-conformities. We will grant you this dimensional variance because you've met the criteria. So all of that to say, I think the memo will hopefully help, and your feedback will be important because I'd like to potentially use this to provide to the public. Again, we may run into other cases where zoning is changing and property owners will of course have questions, and so, thinking as a property owner, if you read through that, if you have more questions, if you're like, hey, this didn't make sense, please let me know. And again, we want to be transparent and help educate, and it's not owning a non-conforming property doesn't have to be a catastrophe, right? The idea is that you're allowed to continue, but recognizing that it doesn't align with the long-term vision.
Okay, the question I have is, so my property, for example, is currently agricultural, but your master plan has research office center is what you want it to be. If I understand agriculture correctly, I can go put up a barn anytime I want, like a pole barn or something like that. Is that true? I think I do that, right?
I
Farmland?
believe that's correct with them.
So-
Probably there's some restrictions, but
Well,
yes.
yeah, I mean, that's, within
You have to
reason,
have-
I can put
you have to have the
a nice
cupola on
animal
top.
shelter if I want without having to get, you guys involved or us involved, if that makes sense. So if I wake up one day and now I'm research office center, I can get in trouble if I build a barn?
Not necessarily, so
It's a yes or no question.
I'll say, well, it's like Glenn said, there's always, it depends, right? I think with that case, the research office center, that is maybe another one that we'll have to talk about.
When would this be happening, this effect?
So, again,
AK, when do I build my barn?
Yeah.
Do I need to build it now or do I have a year? That's what I'm
Thursday.
asking.
You don't
Thursday.
know,
Thursday.
right? But then
And there's not this,
office center, you may need a permit.
That you have to
Is
use
that what-
the property for that use. So
Right.
it wouldn't affect you, but if you wanted to sell eventually, you could sell it as research office property. But you don't have to use it as that
Or you'd be
use.
grandfathered.
right.
You'd be
And
That's not what
non-conforming,
she
I
was
think
saying,
is,
no.
Non-conforming.
non-conforming is the usage she uses
Yeah.
now.
So,
I don't, go ahead.
I'm just saying, it might be another person asked that question, but
no, you're exactly right. These are the kinds of questions that we will get from property owners, and again, I wanna make sure that you all feel equipped to answer these questions as well. So that's kind of why we've got this memo. I'd like to provide additional memos on other questions of this nature so that we can make folks feel comfortable and understand what does this process mean for me, right? In your specific instance with wanting to build a barn, research office, number one, even today, to build a barn, you have to have a principal structure unless you're actively farming it. It's under right to farm. So you couldn't just build a barn by itself, but this is just to speak to it depends. So if you build a barn today and say it doesn't meet the dimensional standards of this research office center district, that it might be rezoned again. This future land use is a guide, but it's not the end all be all. I'll go back to this other.
So it hasn't been adopted yet? Is that what you're saying?
So the
Darn-
master plan has
yeah.
been adopted,
Okay.
but the master plan is the visionary document. It's
Right.
saying, here's where we're
the
headed.
zoning hasn't
The
happened.
zoning is what we're working on right now.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, yeah.
And,
when's the barn building?
Barn building starts this spring.
Might be tomorrow,
second-
the way it's going.
It'll be tomorrow to get that permit.
Contractor will be contacted tomorrow.
So,
Hmm?
but to try to further answer your question, the master plan and future land use map, even though they've been adopted as part of the master plan, that doesn't mean that, to Karen's point, you have to use it that way. It doesn't hold any weight necessarily unless we're looking at something like a rezoning, which specifically we need to look at, does this align with the master plan? Under your current zoning, whatever is permitted within that, have it at it, right? Like, that's what's permitted today. The research office area is another one that would be a bit new for the township. Within the master plan, part of why it was designated as that was to build off of some of the development that was happening to the north, which had some research type uses. Now, part of when we're looking at zoning and does this make sense on this property, does this still make sense with what we said in the future land use, is that if conditions have changed, the master plan and future land use is not set in stone. So we may figure out as we go through the zoning ordinance update, well, even though it's planned for that, ultimately the zoning today should stay or should be this or that.
So what is the difference between ascending area and an urban service receiving district? I know you wanted to hear the answer to this, sorry.
No.
We've already talked about it several times.
We didn't want to.
In less than 30 seconds, what is it?
Oh,
No,
In 30
it's
seconds.
more, yeah.
All right, I'll just Google it.
That's a very difficult thing to explain.
And I will say.
no, it's difficult to understand. That's
Yeah,
probably it.
explain and understand,
Yes.
correct.
Well, it just seems to have meat carved out, that's why I'm curious, so.
He wasn't here in December when I wished he was here because that's when we
Sorry.
discussed it a little bit.
Well, is it recorded? I can listen to it, right? Is it on the, I will not put you guys through
But
again.
we wanted your
I'll go back
comment
and
then,
watch
so,
the recording.
well, we might not discuss it in your issue, because that's what I thought you should be here for.
Well, and I wanna be, cognizant of time, we've got some other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, it's not, I can,
just
yeah,
wanna,
that's
but I
fine.
wanna point out, it is all in the master plan, the sending and receiving, the ideas behind what do we want here. And so I really encourage you to review that ahead of the
And
next.
probably the main resort is flexibility is what you want, so you get the, mainly it's for flexibility, so you get the development in the area which better serves, and the rural area, you're preserving that to some extent, it's the idea behind it.
Yes.
How we get there is confusing. And
And
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that there are these ideas in the master plan, but now that we're going through this update, we may realize, well, that's actually not going to be a good fit. So part of what I, in conclusion, I guess, is that this is really, this idea here on the slide is going to be important because it's our guiding document, but that doesn't mean that we're absolutely married to every single detail. We need to align with it in general, right? We can't just say, well, we're just gonna make the whole township industrial, right? But we need to be thoughtful about each of these areas, each of these codes. It is going to be, a bit of time for you guys to invest in terms of reviewing the text and reviewing the master plan. I'm here to answer questions, to guide, but ultimately it is your code, it is your master plan, and if we realize that conditions have changed so much, the master plan as well is not set in stone. It can be amended. And it's revisited every 5 years. So that's kind of like, in conclusion, please review all the materials that we've provided. You will be asked to provide feedback and detail over the next couple of months as we start reviewing draft text. And I'm always happy to answer questions if something comes up in the middle of the month and you're like, hey, I'm really bothered by this, can you help me understand? I'm always happy to, take a call or send an email, so I don't want you to feel like you are stuck waiting for a month, really confused or upset about something that you've seen or read. I want to get ahead of those questions and comments so that then when we do get to the meeting, we can say, hey, let me clarify this. This was pointed out, this doesn't quite align. So that offer stands.
Could I clarify one thing? You mentioned the middle, which is you had to have a house or a residence on a parcel before you build another structure. That includes barns, I think, and that's a Holly Township. It isn't necessarily all townships, correct?
True, but very common in a lot of.
It's common, but
It's very
yeah, it's not,
common.
yeah, there's other
It's
places.
not
do allow
everywhere,
that,
but
so-
it is very
Definitely a
common.
township thing.
In many cases, barns are considered accessory structures,
Yeah.
not principal structures. And so you have to have, in this case, a
Home,
home would
yeah.
be a principal structure.
The idea, I know when we talked about it, you didn't want to build a barn, somebody lived there for a couple of years before they built a house kind of concept is, I think somewhat behind it is the idea behind it. That
Well, and
people try and do things that they don't say they're going to.
right, absolutely, and, right, that's a great point. And some of this gets into building code and things, right? Like, we are, again, at the beginning of the development process, we're talking about broadly land use and site impacts and, coordination of development. But then even after this commission approves a site plan, detailed construction plans are then developed, reviewed by the engineer, myself, eventually building permits are pulled, things are reviewed again, and so,
Is it
all
the,
of that to say,
sorry, but is it the same through other zoning districts? Like if, when you get a building permit, like I know in Holly Township, you do have to get your septic permit and your well permit prior to, getting your building permit. Is that also like in industrial to residential to the different zones? I'm thinking it's probably all the same, right? I think
Yes,
yeah,
because they may
because
not, you could
he
have
mentioned
the
that,
building up.
right. Because
and
you
then
go
they
directly,
deny
but I thought that was
you,
one of
and
his
The
questions.
only place you can put it is under your building.
Right,
So, yes,
yeah, you have to go
they-
through
yeah.
Oakland County. Oakland County goes through the whole deal, and they go through, and then you have your,
yes,
I thought it was across the board the same. I was just making sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense, though.
That would make sense, yeah. It's just,
Yeah.
let's go back to
But
this question.
importantly, those well and septic permits are not required before a site plan approval. So going
Before a
back
site
to
plan.
what I was saying earlier
Okay.
is that we don't wanna force folks to obtain permits for things that they don't even have the approval to do in the first place, right?
Okay.
So, and one thing that we've been working on internally is documenting all of these procedures. So, what is the site plan approval procedure? What is the special land use procedure? Not only to have some internal consistency over, okay, we need to send this to the engineer, we need to send this to the fire department, we need to call Oakland County, whatever the case may be, but also eventually to have a public facing list of these development procedures so that again, everyone's on the same page about what is expected of them and at what point in that process. So that's something that we're working on, and then ultimately, whatever procedures we end up with in the updated ordinance, we'll update that again. Procedure-wise, things should basically stay the same. And so, that's all I have for now on the zoning ordinance update. Again, we could talk about this all night, but I wanted to just refresh everyone on some of the stuff, and again, ask that you review some materials, and particularly that memo. And in March, I should have some draft text. It won't be the full code. The full code we're anticipating to present in May. But I wanna start talking through some of these things that aren't yet 100% determined, obviously with the zoning districts, so. Any final questions on that before we move on? Thank you.
Thank you.
we're on to new business, I would believe. Election officers, and we do it every year, and I don't remember because as president, it wouldn't seem like I would lead the meeting for who's president next, but, and if there's anybody that wants to be president, I'm not holding on his position because if anybody wants it, it's fine. I wouldn't feel
Aren't you
bad.
just chairman? You're not really.
Chairman, yeah, I'm sorry.
Just
I tried to
sure.
elevate it a little
You
bit.
know,
It all sounds more
Saying
president.
for a
president.
promotion.
You're gonna be.
He's feeling a little deprived.
He's trying to get that parking spot.
Right.
Thank you. So I believe our process is probably we have to nominate somebody. The board members would actually nominate first. Is that correct?
No, you just make a motion to appoint somebody, you can,
So should you see if anybody wants to be chairman?
Yep.
right,
Is anybody?
That would be,
Yep.
I'm sure that Glenn would,
discuss who would
Yeah,
wanna go,
yep.
and then you make the motion.
Okay.
first we'll make sure Glenn wants to do it again.
I don't necessarily want to do
But
it.
you
I'm
do it.
willing to do it
So
again.
we have
As I
that,
see-
we have that part under control. If anybody else wants the job,
Leslie,
No.
Mike.
Mike can't have it.
Oh, that's right. You're on the township board.
He
Beth?
gets the parking spot, he can't be.
Derek?
I can't be the, yeah.
Can't have a handicap.
I
and a
think I know
parking
Ray's
spot.
answer
Come on.
already. And Chuck.
What's it?
Chuck
Would you like to
would be
be
president. Chairman.
We're just simply asking.
Not really. I'm still learning. I feel like I'm underqualified at this point.
Well, then I can't take this position. I'm still learning. It's not a qualification for it.
So with that, I would nominate Glenn Mitchell to be the chairman.
Okay.
Do we start at the top? We start at the top and at the bottom, right?
So you'll make a motion.
I'd make a
to
motion
appoint
to
him.
appoint
Yeah.
Glenn as the.
I second.
Okay, been moved by Ray, second by Derek.
Congrats, Glenn.
We haven't voted yet. We're not gonna vote.
I'm pretty sure it's
I
already
like
done.
your thinking. I like
Those
your
in
thinking.
favor,
This is like a real roll call.
That's a roll call vote, right?
oh,
'Cause
that's
we're
probably
spending big
right.
bucks.
You embarrass me when y'all vote against me now.
Set you up like that.
No, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So is it roll call or is it just a,
No.
no? Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, motion passed. So then we have vice chair. Ray, are you willing to accept again? Because I will nominate you for a second term.
Well,
Or third
first
term.
I want to see if anybody else wants to have the job.
So we'll go down,
The
Leslie?
vice chair is a much less stressful as long as Glenn doesn't have any voting escapades too often.
It worked for me for another board I'm on until the person got married, moved away, and all of a sudden, it didn't work so good.
And then you're it.
Then, yep.
Leslie, are you interested?
I'm gonna pass again. I'm sorry.
Mike can be that. He can just can't be president,
He
I
can't.
think. But probably because that
I
would
don't
be
think he's
separate
supposed to have
president.
any office. Well, I don't know.
I agree.
I
Okay.
think he is not supposed to have any
Okay.
office on board. He's
Okay.
just there.
Ben,
Just the
People here to
parking
comment.
spot.
Ben passes.
That's all.
Derek,
That's all I got.
Chuck.
No, not yet.
I nominate Ray to be vice chair. Is there a second for that?
I'll
Second.
Ben and Chuck and I think everybody seconded that. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion to pass.
He does a great job.
Yep. And for secretary, I know Ben, you've worked hard at that.
I know, I did such a great job last year.
Are you willing to serve again?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah. Okay. Leslie, I just go through.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Barry, Ray, Chuck. Okay. I would make a motion that Ben is secretary.
Second.
Second by Derek. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. So we remain as we existed here.
Also
Yay.
does a great job.
Proposed planning commission bylaws. I think somebody's back up. I wonder why you left the stage.
You thought we were gonna fight over that and take longer with that? No. Now, if the parking spot came up, we might be fighting over it. But other than that.
Okay, so these draft bylaws, part of why we brought these up is that last summer there were some questions about conflict of interest, what's appropriate or not for the commission, and so we thought to look at the bylaws, and in your packet should be your current bylaws, just as is, that, on the top, it has an adoption date of June sixth, 2017. And then there are both a clean and a red line marked up version of the proposed bylaws. And so, some best practices from the field, added a lot of clarity about how the commission should be operating. We actually did take a look at these draft bylaws last year, trying to remember what meeting, but I think we had 3 folks were absent. And so some of you may be seeing this for the first time. I'm happy to kind of go through the changes and explain each of them, or if there are questions at this time. The biggest changes really are, again, adding some organization, adding section numbers, cleaning it up, making it easier to read, taking out some outdated language of things that are just not applicable, don't necessarily need to or should be in the bylaws. For example, plats, that's just not really necessary to have in there. I will say that the township attorney has reviewed these and given her stamp of approval and offered her feedback. And again, the other big change here is just adding clarity on what is expected of officers. We just had our officer election, so on page, let's see, I'm on the red line version so that we can see what's new is red and strikeout is proposed to be removed. On page 4 starts with the officers, and it just provides clarity. What is being expected of you? It's things that you're pretty much already doing, but again, wanting to get it on paper so that
Cleaning it up.
when we turn it over again with the new commission, it's consistent and you're all following the same practice.
That one I wondered because we did have a meeting in January for A there. It says elected, and I would think it should say first meeting of the new year or something like that instead of January. Because right now, we just said invalid election because it was February.
Right, that's a great point. I think that as long as there is a time frame listed, then we're okay, so.
Yep. Again, first meeting of the year, I would think makes it clear, and because it might not always be in January, although most of the time it would be.
And so, and part of what I have here is also, it says, the first meeting of January, annually, or otherwise determined necessary by the commission. So, you know.
Kind of covers it.
Kind of covers it, but,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
but you were looking for clarity, so I thought it would show up more than
Yeah,
clear that way.
absolutely. It's about finding that balance, right?
Yep.
We wanna be clear about expectations, but part of what we talked about in terms of conflict of interest and ex parte contact was wanting to make sure you all have a very clear understanding of your expectations.
I thought that was when you might want to discuss again, because we have everybody here, and the question is, what can we discuss and where and with whom and how many can be present, kind of things, all issues that are kind of important to us, because,
Yeah, of course, especially in a small town, right?
Yeah.
And I pulled out some more slides from that training we did last year because a lot of them speak to this. Now, the slides are high level. The bylaws are really what you'll want to pay attention to. So, there are, let's see.
conflict of interest, I thought was pretty clear in there. I think it was, it's, ex parte is the kind of one that I think can be kind of murky, and
Well, and I wanted to point out, so for conflict of interest, the version that we looked at last summer was prior to the attorney's review. So she did have us take some things out and change a few things just to clear that up, but we talked a bit about that last time, and really the questions were, well, there might be always a conflict of interest in some cases, right? It's kind of hard to avoid when it is a small town, or when we have a lot of property owners on board, and you've got, you may own a property in an active area where you're next to other sites that you're having having issues on.
get a little bored after you're reading, you're like, okay, I'm lost again, I don't,
Hey, I get it.
to be honest, I'm being honest.
So I guess I wanted to pose to you all, do you feel unclear after reading these about what your expectation is? Do you have lingering questions on conflict of interest in particular?
No.
Not I did.
So I just can't be sitting here if it's my neighbor.
That's
Right.
kind of, so you
But I
either gotta
could
sit
be
there
sitting over
or
there.
outside even. They would tell you you have to be outside.
Oh, I can't even be in.
No, they said it's okay,
Didn't
but
we
you
vote
can't sit in
that?
front of this.
It was-
Well, we
I know
talked about it,
One
but,
of them said you had to.
yeah,
leave.
you had to leave, I think
We're
was the
like,
original
hang on.
thing. Yeah, that was a little
You can't
much.
sit at the front desk,
Yeah,
but it is the cease to participate in meetings or anything manner makes they actually leave it. It's kind of like,
So I literally can't even take the podium?
so that's a good point.
That's
Could
what
he
I'm
get up and
asking.
speak about it because it would affect
Public.
potentially his property or very close to it?
I understand I can't sit here,
You
but
just gotta take one
Yeah,
hand
you
off
can't
and
be
put
in the
other hand
board
on, and you're
position
the Property
to-
owner.
I can't be a decision maker, but I can be a
Yeah,
A citizen.
In terms of public comment.
Yeah.
public
you'd,
hearings.
yeah, you'd believe that.
So, there might not always be a public hearing involved in the case, so I'll just mention that. It might not, it might be a straight site plan approval, right? So, but if there is one, our attorney had said that she could provide some documented guidance on this, because it was a question last time of, okay, we know you can't vote and deliberate on it, we don't really want you to dais, right? But that doesn't mean that we should kick you out necessarily.
It could be valuable public comment as a
Yes.
citizen too, so that you might not otherwise get because the other people might not have the same situations you have with it. So it seems like they should be public, a bit as a public comment. 3 minutes, by the way, Derek, 3 minutes.
30 minutes.
Now, the reason I'm hesitating is because I remember that this specific question came up, and I don't feel like I have a firm answer from our attorney, and I don't want to misspeak, so, I will get you that answer.
Well, let me ask you a different way. Can anyone take the podium? Do they have to live in the township to take the podium?
No.
They do not.
So I can just send my lawyer then? Cause that's what it boiled down to. I can't be here. I need someone representing me to be here because that near and dear to me.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
No,
You
I'm
can't
fine
sit
then.
there though.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah,
Everybody
if
can
he
serve
can't-
in
if he
your
has
best
something-
interest.
It
Right.
makes sense to me, if he can't sit here, he can always take the podium.
Yeah.
I would think
If
you
he's
would think-
asked
You
to
would think so.
partake from being on our board, he could still be a member of the public.
Yeah.
if it's affecting
I
your
mean, that'd be,
property.
That's
Sure,
what
property.
I thought as well, but there's a part of me that is thinking
If not,
the
write it in
attorney
red.
disagreed, and I wanna make sure, I don't want to, I wanna give you guys the right
Okay.
information.
So that would be one to clarify though, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Do you want other comments? I need to go through, I had some comments or questions on that. So on page 1, under master plan B, I don't like the word advantageous, which is towards the end of the paragraph, so I think it should be appropriate, not advantageous, so I'll have to go through the whole line, don't I? Send of proper future needs for the most advantageous designation of lands. I think that's very, what I would call it, subjective. What's advantageous to somebody is not to somebody else. So I thought it should be appropriate, which would, I think, make more sense in that line. If you're done with that and no discussion, page 2, under section 2.1, appointment of members, in red under A, the last line is all members shall serve without compensation.
yeah.
I mean, you have to
I
turn my
noticed
money
that
back?
too. Yeah.
I was confused on that too.
So, this is something that the attorney suggested that we add, and I'm
I
assuming
talked
that's
to her
not
about
the
it,
case.
and then said no, yeah.
So we'll strike that.
Okay.
Okay.
Geez, I thought you were gonna have to turn money back.
I was thinking, I just got my direct deposit all. You want to reverse
You had
that?
to take all that money
Actually,
back.
I'm surprised we got paid for this, but I took a free
So
job.
confusing about the first check.
And I was confused in B, cause they took out wording that I thought made sense and put in red that, and I don't know how to read it to you, but it sounds like somebody could, be on the board, but it just had to be from the township. You took out the business owner who does not live in the township, which I thought made some sense. But when I read it, I think it's, you gotta be in the township or in the township, kind of way it's written.
This might be another question for the attorney.
Okay.
Because what happened is we talked about it here,
Mhm.
sent it to her, and the changes she made, I just made. And so I don't necessarily have a reason to.
Well, you just read through that, cause it sounded like,
Sure.
and I'm not sure how the board feels. I thought it made some sense. I know, as far as the village, I don't live in the village, so I can't partake in a lot of things, but I own property in the village, and Ray would have the same kind of thing. And so we feel left out, so the fact that potentially you wouldn't want more than one board member, that would be outside, but why not somebody that lives on the very edge, like just over the line for you in Grand Blanc or something? Why wouldn't they, couldn't be on the board if they have interest in Holly?
Right.
It just seems like that would be kind of a natural thing, not something that wouldn't promote, but just that, cause you could have your house over the line in Genesee County and all your property in Oakland County or in Holly
Oh,
Township.
right.
And so all your interest is almost in another county there, so that was what I would say. I just didn't understand the change in wording and why we'd take that out. The next one, which is C, I was in the library board for a while, and I thought the way this read, it sounded like I couldn't be on the library, and I'm not now, so it's not an issue, but that I couldn't be on a library board even, because that's a township office.
I thought we talked about that,
Yeah.
we decided that was okay though.
I thought we said it was okay, but what I
But
read.
in here, it doesn't say it is okay.
Yeah,
If
that's
you read
what
that,
when
it
I
doesn't
read
sound like it's
doesn't say-
okay.
That's exactly, that's what I said. I thought we said it was okay.
There's no
so-
asterisk there, it
Yeah.
says, but it's okay with this one.
Yeah.
I think it's
So that's my- yeah.
specifically for internal, not, because that's a whole separate board.
Yeah, it is, I know it's kind of different, but it still is a township office as far as I thought.
You actually
because-
get elected for that one.
Yep,
Yeah,
Yeah.
So with this,
but I wasn't elected. That's the problem.
from the attorney was that the appointments of the members happens with the township board, and that the vetting of making sure that there's no conflict there with
Mhm.
offices
Yep.
would occur at that level. And so, it probably couldn't hurt to add the clarification, but that's why it's.
It just didn't seem very clear to me, all right, it sounded like I still really wouldn't have been able to be on the library board and this. And I know there's a difference in how it's a different
Yeah,
elected board and everything, but it's still a township position is the way I would say it.
that's true,
Yeah,
technically,
yeah.
the park board.
Yep, the park board would be the same
Yeah.
thing, would be the same situation too, with the park board, so.
And I think that, part of the idea is that there may be other commissions developed,
Hmm?
other offices that could arise, and so it doesn't necessarily make sense to have a list of them in here, and
No.
so her thought was, well, the appointment of members happens at the township board anyway, and we would be checking for that, so it wasn't necessary here, but I'll clarify that,
And I guess a little bit is, why would it matter kind of thing to, if you're on 3 different commissions, you're running everything, it seems like you're dominating, but it just seemed like if you're on another board and just as a member, it doesn't seem like there should be that much problem, especially when a lot of times you have problems finding people to fill these commissions. So anyway, review that again, I think Chuck? Yeah.
I wanted to go back to B. I
Okay.
think what it's pertaining to is, I had to read that a couple of times to get it. You may have a second home that's in Florida, and you may serve on a board down there. So you're qualified to serve on 2 because you have residence in more than one place. So I think that's what they're getting at, not necessarily a neighboring, say, Grand Blanc Township where you live there and you reside there. It's not saying you can then sit on any council or committee here in Holly Township, but as a resident of Holly, but also a resident somewhere else, you could sit on both boards, different types of boards in different areas.
And you could say.
Or
you're-
say Charlevoix,
Well, like, if you had your house here, but you voted in Florida.
right,
and
you're,
it says
because it
elected,
does
that's
say
where you
you're
voted for.
eligible.
I guess if you phrased it that way, I wouldn't have looked at it that way, but yeah, I mean,
I think that's what they were getting at with that, is that
Could be,
you could have a second residence where you have the ability to serve in that community or that township or city, but you also have a house here which will allow you to do so.
I find
And
it
we're not gonna
confusing, but
restrict
that makes
those
sense.
people to not be able to serve if they have the desire to do so.
My question was more, I thought the phrases they crossed out still should be
Like they
there,
would
I
be an
guess.
outside, they would live outside of the township and then would be able to serve. And I kept reading that and I finally went, okay, now that makes more sense. I think I'm qualifying that the right way, I think.
Perfectly written by a lawyer. You can tell,
Exactly.
because it's like, you read it one way,
No, it's way too short.
Answer solved.
and you word it the other way.
It's way gray.
We can charge 2 hours for that.
Yeah.
What I'll say is, and this goes for the entire document, is that I think the idea that the approach from the attorney is that, well, we don't wanna have extra stuff in here that we don't need.
Right.
And the way I read this, such as a business owner who doesn't live in the township, it's more or less an example, right? And so, let's just strike that, because the key part here is what's in red, which is, it's partially, where it says, except one member of the commission may be an individual who is a qualified elector, to your point,
Yeah.
of another local unit of government within the township, which would be, I think Doug's point, the village.
Oh,
But that's in the township.
oh,
That's in the
even
township.
inside,
That's in
because
the
the village sits inside the township. Like, yeah.
Another local unit of government.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want, you wouldn't necessarily want to restrict them.
Another local unit of
That's even better sense.
So I can't be here, because I'm a trustee, which is another board in the township.
No, but you're the trustee that's allowed to be here.
yes.
Oh, I'm allowed.
That's also.
Because I got a parking spot.
One trustee.
So we can have more than one,
Right.
Oh,
is the
okay.
idea, because we want to.
That even makes more sense. Yep.
A lot of this is not just you and Holly, it's just
Oh,
best
yeah.
practice, right? You don't wanna have the same person running the board and the planning commission and this and that. It starts to become, like you said, they're running the show. The idea is that we're building in diverse perspectives, and
Right.
throughout some of the language in here, even going back to the beginning, the idea is that we're, even looking at the master plan section, C says, somewhere in this section, it talks about bringing a variety of ideas and perspectives, right? You don't want all of everybody who's got the same opinion. And so it's just the best practice to have that variety.
But again, I would still say I like with the word, at the end, giving it, whether it's example or not, because I could just say I could be a business owner, own businesses several different places and pay a lot of taxes those places. But if I don't live there, then I can't vote, I can't be part of the board, and you might have a major investment in that area. And so you'd actually have a reason for being on that board, not just to protect your business, but because you worry about the community or something. So it doesn't seem like we should be restrictive completely. And maybe limit to one or something, or maybe it does limit to one. But anyway, it just seems like it should be a nice option that's in there. And again, I talked to Derek, I said if his house was a few hundred feet further north, he'd be in Grand Blanc Township, and yet all his properties in Oakland County and Holly Township. So a lot of his concern is really Holly Township, but he doesn't live in, potentially didn't live in Holly Township.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, that sometimes is the case, right? And that's just part of government. But I will absolutely bring that up and
Okay.
see if there's something further that I'm not aware of as to why we should strike this out, or if we can keep it in there. And part of what I wanted to mention is that, you don't necessarily have to adopt these tonight.
Yep.
It's clear there's a lot of comments and questions, and even if we bring back some answers to those questions, it might not mean that we need to edit what's in here, but I wanna make sure I put on
Yep. Page 3, under term B.
Well, wait, let's go back to page
Oh,
2 here.
sorry.
Number D, who's on the Board of Zone of Appeals?
Oh, yes, I did wonder about that too.
Aren't you? Yeah.
Oh,
I am.
Chuck is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you shall, which means you will, somebody. Means you have to have somebody.
I get a half a parking spot.
But I'm just curious.
Now he's on
Did
2
we ever
boards.
have anybody before?
I wasn't aware of it, that's what, I did notice
I
that,
don't
so
think
thanks
so. I
for
mean,
backing me up.
I was pretty sure you were still there, that's why I thought
Yeah.
that applied to you, but I don't think we ever had anybody before.
Oh,
There's
really?
only 3 of you, right?
Yeah, there's just 3 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Matt?
Jen,
Oh.
oh no, that wasn't, no, on PC.
So that's always been there then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
that's
in
black,
black,
that's
yeah.
something there. I don't think we had that, I mean, in my tenure.
Very many ZBA meetings or cases, it is part of why it's probably not super apparent, we just haven't had many variance requests.
But it sounded like we would be required to have one member, and we weren't aware that we had one until now with Chuck, but we're aware he's with us. So anyway, that clarifies that, I guess, a little bit, and that we need to do that. On to page 3,
Page 3.
term B, it says a member shall hold office until his or her successor be appointed. What if I resign? I have to serve until you find somebody else?
Well, actually, I kind of like this because it means you can't die until you have somebody.
You can't get out of it.
There, you just, I can't die. I gotta be the member.
I love
until
it.
somebody-
Yeah, but God always wins this way, Glenn, so you can't.
It's like a life insurance policy right there. I can't die. I'm good. Invincible.
Like it.
Anyway, I just didn't think it dealt with that issue, but.
And then how about on the delinquent, or the missing the absences? So
Oh, yeah.
should that reset every year, or, because I think I missed one 2 years ago, so.
Well, go back to B, you can't get off.
Well, yeah, true.
Right.
Can't get on.
Unless we appoint
But is
somebody else, we
that
can't.
should probably reset annually, right?
Yeah, it seems
Get
like
2
it should,
absences
yeah.
every year, or 2 absences every 6 months.
And yeah, what is a valid excuse? Get a real valid excuse,
Depends,
you're okay.
it depends whose boss is talking about it.
Should it reset?
Death could be, but you can't die because of B.
And should it say reset annually, or should it be during any 1 year period? Because then you could pick the year period that way. Annually means it would be in one calendar year you would deal with.
Well, the way they,
Just
the way they
calendar.
rewrite it is to say 2 consecutive
Yeah.
regular scheduled meetings. And after that, the way it was any commission member who missed 2.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So the red is the new, right?
Yep.
Right.
So 2 consecutive, which theoretically could be, December and January, so it could be over a 2-year period, I guess.
Derek was trying to do that.
Well, and to the question about what's a valid excuse, I think what this is getting at is just, you're a no-show. You don't let us know.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You know, there's not like a list of valid or
Right.
unvalid excuses.
For the most part, this should just make it so that if we're deadbeats, you can get rid of us, right?
Without a problem, yeah.
Is that a capital D or a small D? Might wanna-
So, did we decide annually within a calendar year? Feel strongly one way or another?
2 consecutive,
Well,
it's not
It
unexcused.
says 2 consecutives, I would think
Yeah,
that's,
unexcused
Yeah.
absences, that's all.
I don't have a problem with that.
it leaves the door open. If Glenn starts being a problem, we got a way to get rid of it.
That's all it takes to get off the board.
Actually, the way that it's written, it says in red consecutive, but then that second sentence, any commission member absent from 2 regular meetings.
Yeah, it still does say that.
Isn't the red gonna replace the black? You
Nope.
didn't draw a line through it, so you
Didn't
can
draw a line
both
through
be
it.
there.
Yep.
So we should probably, I think, the red to me would replace the black and get rid of the 2 meetings, I would think.
I'll clarify for the next draft.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it is a problem if, say, the person comes every other meeting. Because they could be gone basically 6 meetings in a year, so you really should have something to do with the 2 meetings. Consecutive makes it easier, but, yeah, but it still should be something for, during a year's period or something like that.
And there's, C says members may be removed by the township board, there are options.
Yeah, there's other options, yeah, that's
for
true.
removal if needed.
Yep.
Other comments?
My next one's a long ways away, but I'm all the way to page 7 is my next comment.
Yeah, I got one on page 7, what you got?
Probably the same thing, called at the bottom, the agenda order, they
Yeah.
crossed out roll call.
Roll call should be in its own little line.
Call to the order, is it just meant that it should be moved down to number 2?
Well,
Or-
they moved
They
it,
did-
yeah,
they did.
pledge allegiance and then roll call.
Oh, I missed that, sorry. Yep, it is
The
there.
roll
They-
call
they
should be
moved that
number
down
3,
Instead of being in the
Yep.
first thing.
Yep, sorry.
because it's its own separate process.
So during the Pledge of Allegiance, Karen has to do the roll call, is the way I get that.
It's and.
You can do it in the pauses.
Well, it's and, that means both together.
I don't have the agenda in front of me, but
Yeah.
I mean.
Yep, that's fine.
I didn't think, yeah.
I just didn't notice it was the next line. It was right underneath it too, so sorry.
We probably should, on the agenda, insert the public comment rules. I know on the historic district we do it, and on the trustee meeting we do it too.
So it's actually in the bylaws,
It's
so
actually-
people can't
well-
dispute it.
Well, it just says it right on the agenda, that you got 3 minutes unless otherwise voted. Like,
It's on the backs, isn't it? I haven't seen really, I think it's on the
She
backs.
puts down the rules so people understand.
Yeah.
yeah. This is related to the agenda, how it's laid out.
When we do have a scheduled public hearing, then we'll put on the back of the agenda, there's a full
Right.
one-pager.
But I guess his point,
Yeah,
Mike's
I
point
think
is,
that makes sense.
maybe it should be in our bylaws, so it's not just something we made up for that day. It would be, and we're treating everybody consistently,
in
would
there
be
so it's there.
the idea with that.
Well, it's handled in the section above the agenda, but
Township board, so I can just put it in there.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that
fine.
little
It would be
blurb.
within that section.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, on page, what happened to special meetings on page 7?
Oh, yeah, that was completely removed.
And not that we do those, but
The short answer is that the attorney said we didn't need it, and it's just not something that I asked her for about. I could get a clarification if that's,
I mean, I got nothing about special meeting 4, but I mean,
yeah.
I guess
Well, is
if
that,
if it's deleted, we have no way to have a special meeting,
No, we call it, yeah, we do,
so it's still okay.
yeah,
We just don't need to have it in here.
correct.
Okay.
In
'Cause it
most
would-
situations, it might be something that actually the township board might request. Am I thinking in the right direction with that?
Applicant would request,
Oh, okay, yeah.
then we would
And we might find that it's necessary to have a meeting prior to, gotcha.
So
Okay.
if you wanted a special meeting, there is an additional fee that
they get to cover the cost of the
Gotcha.
And free
Okay.
donuts.
so the thing I thought example why it should be here
Learn
is
something
what
new
about
every day.
AI? We have a meeting here and we have 500 people arrive. We need to reconvene or have a special meeting someplace else. It seems like we should have something still in your thing. I've just seen them on TV what other AI meeting, or data center meetings have been like and how many people have attended. So, you know, you wouldn't necessarily know that until you got to the meeting, and then you couldn't have the meeting basically, and then it's only that
Oh,
monthly
excuse
meeting.
me.
in that instance, because it has happened.
Yes, it has happened.
Personally,
Well, I mean,
there's
I'm
other
not,
room, there's capacity,
Yeah,
that's
yep.
right, and so, but that doesn't mean that we need to cancel a meeting necessarily. In some instances, we said it's live streamed, you
Oh,
can,
yeah.
you know, watch it on your phone in the parking lot.
Is there rioting outside? Is that what?
No, I mean, sincerely, we had a meeting
Yeah.
where it was at capacity, but all of the folks wanted to contribute at public comment.
Mhm.
And so the line went outside
So
and
you
went
took
through.
in and out, okay.
Some folks had seats in that room, others were in the hallway, others were outside, so.
Wow.
But that is a consideration, I mean, I don't know.
Our fire person's here every time, so we have to watch out for
What
that.
our capacity is for this room, but,
12.
14 if you use the bathrooms.
Mm.
so, but at any rate,
Yeah.
any other comments or questions at this
And why in 8 did we took out parliamentary process? I thought that was important to actually establish that's the way you run your meetings. That's Robert's Rules of Order.
That has just been moved to the front.
Oh, okay, I just missed it. It went someplace else.
It's within,
Sorry. I didn't notice it apparently when I was.
page 1, under section 1.2. It's listed under capital A and then lowercase f. And
Okay.
what the attorney mentioned is that she wanted me to add that to the extent reasonably practicable. Because Robert's Rules isn't huge, it's a very detailed. We are
I didn't notice it was there, sorry. I might have read this different days, so I might not have noticed, and it's just one little line, so I didn't notice it was there, thank you.
Yeah. And if anything comes up for, let's see, 1 week before the next meeting, so, you know, I submit my materials to Karen a week before the meeting. If you have more questions on this, feel free to send them my way. And then next time we should be.
Wasn't this enough comments and questions?
I just, you know, if there's gonna be one, I don't want you to feel like you have to wait till the meeting, so.
All right. Anything else with that? Because we're not voting on it today. So on to the 2025 Planning Commission Annual Report.
So, within the state act, the planning commission is required to prepare an annual report and transmit it to the township board. We've followed kind of a standard format for these for many years now, and it's just an overview of what we did last year. So, a list of our meetings, a list of the applications that the planning commission was presented, some of which aren't yet complete or not yet closed out. For example, Dixie Highway rezoning on page 3. The main thing here to take note on is on page 3, looking ahead, there's a brief description about how the commission is focused this year on updating the ordinance. In other years, and once we get past the ordinance adoption, there may be other things that we work on. So even though we're going to spend a lot of time and invest a lot of resources in updating the ordinance, there will always be things that pop up here and there, and this is a spot where I might point out, hey, we had some issues with fences last year. We need to amend the code and clarify something there. That section is where I might, but here's some things that we have to address over the next year. And then lastly, training opportunities. Training will be in our new bylaws. It's not explicitly mentioned in the current bylaws, but
I did see
in the
that.
proposed new bylaws, it states each member shall have attended at least 2 hours per year of training in planning and zoning during the member's current term of office. And right within the bylaws, it lists a variety of different resources, organizations that offer training, but within this annual planning report, there's a couple of links as well, and this is something that we could facilitate, you know, if there's a training that several of you wanted to attend, it could be a webinar, but I wanted to point that out, that that is an expectation for you guys, and if you have questions on that.
It says must, so we're off the board if we don't do it, right?
Well,
Hit the
But I
boot.
thought
Oh,
you
you're
did
not
some of the
getting out
training
that
here,
easy.
correct? So you were doing some of the training here, so we're gonna meet the 2 hours.
we have training here, but you can also,
On your
there's
own.
a lot of resources out there, yeah, so just wanted to point that out, and otherwise I'm happy to take questions.
Look good to me. I didn't notice anything.
Fine, yeah. Thanks for the help.
Do we need a motion to pass that on to the township board?
Motion to pass on the board?
Derek makes a motion to pass that information on to the township board. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Chuck. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. All right, thank you. Reports. Leslie, anything? I'm gonna start with you every time. So
I know.
put you on the spot.
No, nothing I can think of right now, no.
Mike? Back from the township board that we should know about?
They didn't vote on the Dixie Highway property. They're
There's
gonna-
just concerns like was brought to our attention
Yes.
as reason.
So they're gonna take a look at it.
Ben?
Nothing this time.
Okay. Chuck? Oh, I tricked you. Ray?
I'm good.
Okay. Derek?
I'm good,
Okay.
thank you.
My only comment was I got my board packet for December the day before I got my January one.
I did too.
So I did get it, but
I
it was
did
a,
too, yeah, a month late.
yeah, a
I
full
did
month
get
late.
mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it must have got
It's
stuck
weird.
somewhere in their system, and
Yeah,
Christmas thing else someplace.
once it goes to potty.
Yep. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Moved by Derek, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Ben.
Wait.
A comment, sorry.
comment,
Yep.
yeah.
Public
Say-
comment, sorry, yep.
Oh, you already commented.
Yeah, all right, we're going back, we didn't vote yet, so we can still let you talk.
Yeah,
Yep.
I can talk about anything.
Am I allowed to?
Yep, and you can talk about anything this time.
It is late. I will try to keep it to 3 minutes or less.
Okay.
Start the clock.
And I should, because it should be in the bylaws.
Well, you get 3 minutes, and we can give you another 3 minutes, but
I appreciate
it's on every other meeting I'm at, it's just the rules.
No, I appreciate you guys having me here, and I know the situation that I've been in has been a tough one. And I'm here in front of you today because I don't want other citizens of the township to be placed in a similar situation. With this diagnostic review, we have an opportunity to make beneficial zoning regulation that can benefit both homeowners and enable businesses to grow. I feel like I need to clarify my points. The points about water were not necessarily for my particular situation. It had more to do with the new technology piece, where if you're in an industrial area and you're gonna consume 5 million gallons of water daily, that should be reviewed ahead of approving that zone, right? So that was kind of my thrust there. You know, I also would like to recommend, there was a point that I didn't bring in initially, that there is stringent verbiage in our zoning ordinance that gives the township additional discretion in bordering districts where they overlap with each other or they're adjacent or abutting with each other. That way, it doesn't put us in a bind here as a township. And it also gives the ability for the public to have a, you know, you're not married to what's in the master plan, right? To say, well, this is 20 feet from this guy's house. You know, we have the discretion to say that we don't think that's appropriate, right? Maybe I'm taking that a little too far. That might be some stiff verbiage. And then lastly, it is a question that did come up in my mind. So if I have a pre-existing structure that is, you know, just say it's residential, right? And my land becomes rezoned commercial. What happens? Can I add, rebuild? Am I bound to those new criteria for that commercial? If I go to sell that property, are they now unable, if they have to go and make updates to be conforming because they want to use it for a commercial use case, do they now need to abide by those new zoning regulations for that district? So that was just my question. We have the lawyer and the planner, excuse me, not the lawyer. Yeah, the planner here with the knowledge, so I figured I would put that ahead of everybody because I think that's a question that's valid. So thank you.
Thanks, James. We don't always comment. Does anybody or Alexis want to comment on anything that just so it's a time to clarify it, I guess. We don't want to spend much time on this, but yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
so, I think with regard to the water,
The data centers is the big issue with that,
Yes,
so that's what's coming out. And
Yeah. All it is,
so I had kind of assumed that comment was about the rezoning.
Mhm.
For something like a site plan review, water would absolutely be reviewed by the engineer. So,
Okay.
you know, when we have a site plan application, it will be sent to myself, to the fire department, the township engineer, sometimes the attorney, and that's where, you know, if you think about it as a scale, rezoning is high level, site plan, you're here,
I read.
construction plans come eventually. That's truly, everything is to scale, every specific details in there. So, water would, yes, be reviewed, and in terms of the transitional language in the ordinance, I will have to review that to be fair.
Yeah,
I just
I
don't
wasn't
know
sure on
off
that,
the
but
top
yeah.
of my head, but I will say that the transition points between use types and districts is something that we'll talk about, and that, you know, it might not be within the zoning map that it's addressed, but it's addressed through things like screening requirements or buffering for certain uses that we don't want this type of use within 500 feet, 1,000 feet of a residential property. Those are the kinds of details that add additional protection, that sometimes are missing in our current ordinance. It's, again, a little bit high level, and doesn't always have those details.
All right, that's pretty much it.
Third point.
Yep.
Any questions?
Nope, I don't think so. Anything for the board? Last comment before I ask a second time for adjournment.
Motion adjourned?
Yeah. Derek made the motion. Is there a second?
The second.
Second by Chuck. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Yep. 8:12. Yes, ascending zones, and that I still find confusing.
Yeah.
It allows Mr. Mott, Mr. Mott's relatives there to actually get paid for preserving land and preserving any way to allow somebody else to develop with more units or something per property, so it allows a higher density perhaps someplace else.
Time in which somebody,
And I don't like it, and I don't,
Oh,
really
okay.
don't think it's great.
Perfect.
but They pushed it every time.
until such time.
So you have ascending units and the receiving units, and the idea is to keep the density lower
Well, here's
and kind of make it permanent for like more rural areas, part